Your robots are no match for a master builder. For I see everything. My eyes.
Vitruvius is right. He's a master builder that should have no problem taking on a few f***ing peon robots like these. But all he does is summon up a flock of seagulls to attack them and is immediately shot? What the sh**?
Vitruvius is inept. He makes up everything as he goes along.
Nothing's gonna stop me now!
Wait, there was a prophecy.
Why doesn't business just kill Vitruvius right now? Especially after he's already ordered the robots to destroy him?
Because he's insecure and vain.
Also, while this movie takes great pains in laughing at movie prophecies, the fake prophecy ends up being true. So it's kind of like all the prophecies in movies ever, only with more laughing.
It's a deconstruction of movie prophecies, which just happens to be true.
A special one with face of yellow.
I'm tempted to say that's racist, but it's really the opposite. Almost everyone in this movie has a face of yellow, so this detail has no business being in this prophecy.
The prophecy is supposed to be vague and applicable to everyone. He's pulling it out of his ass. It's a joke.
That was a great, inspiring legend that you made up.
Actually, Lord Business is correct, but we're still going to watch an entire movie pretending he was wrong, only to learn he was correct.
Withholding information from the audience is a central tenet of dramatic tension, so unless you want no movie in your movies...
8.5 years later? You're telling me it took that long for Lord Business to weaponize the Craggle?
It's a play on 8.5 by Fellini. Also, he's been collecting the other relics and slowly going insane with power.
Detail in this movie is awesome, but how the hell does Emmett ride that bike over there? It's only got one Lego stud for a seat, which means only half of his ass will fit, and he'll be all lopsided.
If you had ever actually played with one, you would know minifigs don't use the stud. They put their legs through the frame, like this.
Am I thinking too much about the practicalities of transportation in an animated toy movie? You bet I am.
No, you just say whatever comes to mind without checking if it's true.
Why does this doorway warn a good morning before the 3 dozen other inanimate objects in this room?
Emmett is intentionally boring, dumb, and brainless at the beginning of this movie. It's his arc.
Everything about this poster screams hockey, except the word sport.
Once again, it's a joke along the lines of it being a way too general title.
Why has everything thus far been Lego-sized, but suddenly this razor and toothbrush are ginormous?
Because everything uses Lego elements which are made for people. That's actually a Lego hammer he uses to shave as well.
Also, this funny costume montage reveals that Emmett either has a Fletch-like obsession with disguise, or he's previously had careers as a surgeon, an archer, a magician, a clown, and Godzilla.
Those are the costumes from the collectible Lego minifigures.
Hi, I'm CinemaSins, and I take joyful moments and try and f*** them up. Jeez, what an asshole I am.
Don't you just hate what you've become?
Also, while these are super confusing, at least the right side has road signs, but the left side apparently doesn't get any signs.
In this single shot, the left doesn't have signs. Notice how the right on-ramp has a sign after it, while the other side has an off-ramp.
Park between the lines! Yes!
Jesus, every single car in this row parked at the same time? How is there nobody parked already? This isn't so much parallel parking as it is impossible synchronized parallel parking.
They all listen to the same song. They all wake up at the same time, and they're all mindless conforming drones.
I know these signs are basically a representation of Papa Farrell's rules for his kid, but no marching bands? Was that necessary for an 8-year-old or at all?
The sin here is that he loves order and conformity, but doesn't allow practice in rehearsed marching bands. Go figure.
I can sing this song for hours!
You've been at work for 5 hours and it's already dark? The hell kind of bull place do you live anyway?
Well, they are in a basement, where not a lot of sunlight comes in.
In the waning hours of the workday, the instructions tell the Lego workers to create an elaborate ballet of construction equipment.
They all use the same instructions, which tell them exactly where to go. That's why they're so coordinated.
Huh, who knew Lego pieces could be linked to the cloud or even electrified?
Who knew, right?
Considering that we later learn Emmett is a fraud, and even the prophecy is a fraud, this crazy magic flashback vision thing Emmett has when first touching the piece of resistance seems kind of stupid, right?
No, it's a part of the story. The kid is making it up. Remember being a kid?
You know, he's just sort of a...
Also, Bad Cop's video investigation somehow led him to the coffee shop to talk to the barista.
They spoke to everyone who sees Emmett doing the same thing every single day.
It's at this point I wonder, how did Emmett get the piece of resistance glued to his back? The only person in this universe with the Craggle is Lord Business. Yeah, sure, we know the kid Finn did this in the real world, but glue is supposed to be bad, remember?
No, it's not bad if it's part of a story. The bad is making everything absolutely perfect.
Wildstyle is such a lethal assassin here, it makes me wonder why they need a dozen heroes and a plan at the end of this movie, instead of just sending in Wildstyle and letting her go all berserker on the enemy.
Because, remember, this movie is about working together, using their strengths to overcome a larger force. If Wildstyle just did it all by herself, What would be the point?
Also, if Wildstyle is this awesome at fighting, then why did she care that Emmett saw her earlier? Couldn't she have just run down to get the piece of resistance and whooshed on out of there?
He could have ratted her out. I mean, he was just about to. Also, she never expected to see anyone else there.
And how did Emmett make his way up to ground level without Wildstyle noticing and just taking the piece while he's passed out?
The piece is fused onto him.
Cut him off on Elm, now!
Or whenever you can.
10-4, bad cop.
Good cop should be reserved to interrogations, right? Otherwise, he's just giving his crew mixed messages.
No, they're facets of the same person. He has little control over Good Cop, which is why he resists being erased.
Hang on, sir!
Why didn't you just do that in the first place?
Because master builders build what they need in the moment, not what they might need.
And we searched for the piece of resistance, the only thing that can stop the Craggle.
You're telling me the original cap to the superglue is the only thing in all the varied LEGO kingdoms that can cover and stop the flow of superglue from the superglue container?
Ring, meet Mount Doom. That's what it's made for.
I say you assholes aren't trying hard enough.
You assholes being fictional characters in a child's imagination. Right.
Was going to use the Craggle to end the world in 3 days.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, but it's only Taco Tuesday in Bricksburg. How's Lord Business gonna gather everyone for destruction in the other worlds?
Taco Tuesday everywhere in this world.
Also, why, if you hadn't read the script, would something as scrumptious as Taco Tuesday tip off your spidey senses?
Because it's a big day, like saying there's gonna be an attack soon, and then it being Super Bowl Sunday like 3 days later.
So basically this is the Star Trek's V'ger, or the Planet of the Apes' Kalima.
And what's wrong with that? Don't you fawn over in-movie references to other films?
I won't test it on you. I'll do it on your parents.
Lord Business imports Bad Cop's parents' entire house, instead of just abducting the two of them and craggling them to a random Lego piece.
They have to live somewhere, right? Ever heard of Grant Wood's American Gothic?
Removing Good Cop's facial features removes the entire Good Cop personality from this guy, somehow.
He doesn't have a mouth, no way to express himself. He still exists, but only inside, where we can't see.
Also, as an aside, is Lego sex the most basic thing ever, or what? Hey, my rounded peg would seem to fit in your rounded hole. Come, let us attach and unattach ourselves together repeatedly for a few minutes.
What? Ew.
Damn, this kid even managed to imagine a hooker in the saloon. This kid's like 8, right?
His father built this. Also, even if he did imagine this, wouldn't you have seen old movies where this showed up? Is that so unbelievable?
Meet me upstairs in 10 seconds.
This is hilarious, but why would the Octon Title Card Company make silent title cards for what is the protagonist's adventure? More importantly, why make title cards for anything?
Octan makes everything, even films.
Your mind is already so prodigiously empty that there is nothing in it to clear away in the first place.
Is this the silliest movie Morgan Freeman's ever appeared in? No! He was also in Ted 2, Now You See Me 2, and Dolphin Tale 2. I know, crazy, right? Still true.
Driving Miss Daisy, Outbreak, March of the Penguins. What's your point?
Prophecy chose you, Emmett.
We know that Wizard Vitruvius is making this up as he goes along, but why the certainty about Emmett's usefulness?
He's lying to him.
Can't he just take the piece of resistance and, with the help of all the other remaining master builders, cap the Craggle himself?
No. Didn't you see the start of the film? He sucks at this.
Draw a cowboy hat on him.
But wait, don't half the people in this saloon have a cowboy hat? And isn't the point that everyone has the same face, so common hats wouldn't make a difference?
He's wearing a hat when this robot saw him. If he was anywhere near here, he'd be wearing one.
Oh no.
Did Bad Cop actually get on these train tracks knowing that the heroes would eventually jump on this train? And what kind of XXX State of the Union is this anyway?
He's following them, so he jumps on the track from the same cliffside they do.
Again, why not do this in the first place?
He thinks he can catch him with just an ordinary car. He's arrogant. That's his character.
Batman!
How in the does Emmett know who Batman is? He lives in Bricksburg, remember? A place where everything is generic, and the only thing on the TV is where are my pants? You think President Business is going to allow a vigilante superhero to be shown on public media?
Everyone knows Batman. It's like people knowing religious figures, even if their governments disallow them.
Okay.
So if this universe is based on the playset that the kid is using in the real world, where is Cloud Cuckoo Land? It's big and complicated enough that the dad would have noticed, and it's obviously adjacent to one of the traditional sets.
He built it, or it just exists in his mind.
No babysitters, no bedtimes, no frowny faces, no bushy mustaches.
I understand the rest, but why the war on mustaches? Some of that is painted right on their face, and they can't help it. Of course, we saw Emmett shave his face a while back, so what do I know what's real?
Mustaches are a sign of maturity, i.e. authority figures. Also, yeah, they can shave or just pop off their beards.
Sharks!
But that shark is out of water. That doesn't compute at all. Why implement a shark defense system on the infinitieth floor, miles above sea level, and, sea?
Plastic Lego sharks. He's supposed to be a stupid evil genius.
And strange, dangerous relics that entrap, snap, and zap.
How were those used against you again? Every single part of this story shows you getting your asses kicked by all the dangerous stuff in the tower. But here, the relics are just sitting on their pedestals, being used by nobody.
Maybe Metalbeard never saw anyone getting hit by the relics and only ever heard about it.
What idea have ye that be better than the ideas of 100 of our fallen master builder brothers?
Well, Emmett has the piece of resistance, right? Something you didn't have when you broke into Lord Business's tower on the last attempt. Jesus, why did they even try that time without the single most important relic they needed?
It's not the piece, it's his plan they care about. The whole point is that they think they can do it without him. That he's just useless and stupid, a nobody. What you're talking about are character flaws.
Emmett and company had to ride a rainbow bridge up to Cloud Cuckoo Land, but this pirate drops out of it into the water with no sign of any kind of rainbow bridge in sight. Is the rainbow bridge temporary? Or does the movie just not give a shit about Cloud Cuckoo rules?
That's because no one is climbing up.
It's a tracking device!
Huge-ass blinking tracking device goes unnoticed by everyone in this entire movie until now, because of course it does.
Because they're stupidly overconfident.
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet! Dang it.
Wow, in a total dick move, Wonder Woman must have parked her jet literally on top of the Batmobile.
Notice the cloud in the second shot. Different place. Aren't you supposed to be good at this by now? Or do you just not care?
No! We must protect the peace!
I guess Lego Superman doesn't have the power to just end this entire attack by Bad Cop right now.
Does Superman always stop every attack before it ends in countless civilian lives? No. I didn't think so.
Y'all ready for this? Oh no! They were ready for that!
This hilarious moment interrupted by logic. It was a basketball. They didn't have to be ready for it. It's fucking harmless.
He's Shaq. What do you want him to throw? A grenade?
You were part of a group that was just giving Emmett for being useless, and then you go and do this? You Lego Shaq, you're a fraud. You're no more a master builder than Emmett is.
That's the point.
I can't move!
Since when does stuff like this stop Superman? Isn't this the type of thing that stops Hulk?
It's the kid using the gum. He's just a minifigure, remember?
You must embrace what is special about you.
But that's nothing. He's an instructions-following loser. That's the entire point of the movie, actually. That even a nobody's ideas are worthwhile. But here you suggest he's still special in some way, despite numerous moments proving he is not, and you knowing you made the whole thing up in the first place.
Double-decker couch, anyone? And the wheel that he put on his head?
In Lego World, clouds can get so fire damaged they crash into the sea, which sort of makes them not clouds, but whatever. Science doesn't exist in this movie. It's not like I need Dr. Tyson's help here. I got this one, Doc.
Sure you do. Sure you do.
Like Wonder Woman couldn't take out all these fools on her own? And let's not forget we're in this situation because Superman, goddamn Superman, was defeated by bubblegum, so...
It's the kid's story. He can do whatever he wants.
Wait, no. Every time water has been shown in this movie, it has been flat sheets or little one pieces of blue Legos. So them traveling through this sea of actual water is a freaking lie. I don't care if it's a little kid's imagination. Play by your own rules, movie.
You've only ever seen the top of the water, Jeremy.
Then, after a few leaks, the fucking thing explodes. Explodes! It exploded instead of sinking. Holes in a sub caused an explosion. That just happened.
It's an implosion. Negative pressure. Did you ever take physics?
Emmett's much maligned double-decker couch actually saves the day, but how did these assholes fit in the seat cushions? This isn't the Millennium Falcon secret compartments here. You have to do some very sinful things with the scale of the human beings in this world to make this work.
Lego figures can be used without legs or a torso.
It's follow the instructions.
Emmett says this, and it definitely sounds brilliant, but then their plan ultimately involves very little instruction following and a metric ass ton of improvisation. I mean, by follow the instructions, Emmett mostly means draw up a plan in advance, which is actually a totally different thing.
He means fool Lord Business by appearing to follow the instructions. Do you and I watch the same movie?
Somebody get me some markers, some construction paper, and some glitter glue!
Wait, aren't they supposed to be avoiding any adhesives?
Yes, because glitter glue will permanently fuse Lego pieces together. I'd love to see you try.
Yeah, but according to your precious instructions...
He made that with markers, construction paper, and glitter glue? Really?
No, he made his plan outline with markers. Pay attention.
Apparently, Emmett's planned spaceship that looks like President Business's spaceships calls for a hyperdrive. They got to this point in the Lego world by train, horseback, and a floating double-decker couch. So a hyperdrive is not needed to get to President Business's tower. But the movie wanted to shoehorn in a Star Wars moment, and so we get this.
The truck has to be exactly like the ones Octan uses. down to the brick.
What the f would Han and everybody be doing in yet another asteroid with yet another space slug? I demand answers for this parody that is both hilarious and entertaining but sinful. Also, is the kid flashing back like the movie is right now? Does his mind work like a Family Guy episode?
It's a what-if scenario based on Empire. They didn't have a hyperdrive in that film either.
Metalbeard is suddenly a goddamn transformer and can turn into an object 1/10 his size, like a f***ing copy machine. This is all new information presented as fact.
Technically, he is just a head attached to random pieces. He can do whatever he wants with them.
One of the rules is never release a Kraken. And if you're Warner Brothers, maybe you take that one step further and never again release a Clash of the Titans.
What does that have to do with this movie again? Are we seeing other movies by the same company?
Step 5. Vitruvius will provide lookout and make sure we're not being followed.
Okay.
This is a funny moment, but everything else about Emmett's plan actually makes sense. So why throw in this useless job for blind old Red?
Didn't you just say 3 seconds ago that sending Metalbeard on a Snape mission makes no sense?
I move that we freeze the universe. Can I get a second on that?
Why the balls does Lord Business need board approval to freeze the universe? It's either an evil secret plan or something that would have been planned for months, not a rubber stamp the day before it happens.
It's a joke. He's megalomaniacal.
I've never been a robot before.
What do you mean? You have always been a robot.
Despite large dreams of f***ing up being robots, Emmett and Wildstyle managed to escape this situation.
Because everyone is brainwashed with the song, Everything is Awesome.
I just realized this is the first of 2 blockbusters where Chris Pratt's character gets himself out of a jam with a comical music dance number. And now I feel like there almost has to be a Jurassic World deleted scene of him and the Raptor Bros popping and locking.
Now we're sending non-existent deleted scenes?
That night in the city when you thought I was the special.
Damn, this kid's imagination sure has gotten dramatic all of a sudden. This is a tremendously complex fantasy.
You'd be amazed what kids can come up with.
Hey, what are you two losers talking about?
Did the plan call for Batman to be here right now? Or is he just being Batman, doing whatever he wants? How might this screw up Emmett's plan? Does Batman care?
You just answered all of your own questions.
Did the plan call for Batman to be here right now?
No.
Or is he just being Batman, doing whatever he wants?
Yes.
How might this screw up Emmett's plan?
I don't know.
Does Batman care?
No. Batman only cares about himself.
The prophecy. I made it up.
Vitruvius tells Emmett this when he's about to die, rather than days ago. But honestly, the real bullshit here is that this prophecy was so specific, and everything about it except Emmett turns out to be true. Except the Emmett part even turns out to be true. Kind of in that Kung Fu Panda way.
Then terminate everyone.
Okay, so Papa Pharaoh wants to glue everything that already exists in place, and that's explained. But why would he terminate all the master builders that are providing instructions for the stuff that's still being built?
He wants everything to stay the way it is right now.
I am Ghost Vitruvius.
The effects and conceit of this movie are brilliant, taking Legos and making them move on their own in their own little universe. So why are we getting these wink-wink moments now, like 70% into the movie?
Because the kid thought of a way to bring him back involving fishing line. Also, his staff has always been a chewed-up lollipop stick. You just haven't been paying attention.
Who wants a taco?
Half the happy responders to this question are in sombreros. That's racist.
There are 6 in sombreros and thousands behind them. It's not racist.
Does anyone have any ideas?
I do. Let's get Superman to save the day.
And that's why you aren't a scriptwriter.
This is Emmett. And he was just like all of you. A face in the crowd.
This speech is awesome, but where the hell did she get all this backstory footage of Emmett to run under this emergency broadcast? Some of this violates the First Amendment, I think.
See that in the top left corner? Yeah. Also, Bricksburg doesn't have the Constitution.
I mean, this here says security footage, but it's Emmett in his own apartment. Does this society film every resident's personal actions in their apartments?
Yes, that's why Octan makes so many security cameras.
So this is where the kid's imagination diverts from the movie's story, and it's unclear how those two timelines interact. Obviously, the kid doesn't know that Emmett sacrificed himself for his friends because he doesn't know he could move around in the real world, which means that either explanation of how this movie movies is flawed.
No, he only knows Emmett sacrifices himself, and so he falls to the floor. Then his dad interrupts him.
Oh, this is a disaster.
It's hard to believe that Finn's stuffy dad actually bought Legos in order to build his model empire.
Don't you have any hobbies? Oh, wait.
Permanently.
Holy dude, why didn't you go ahead and use the glue when you so obviously meant to use it for your model?
He's too busy working? He's Lord Business, after all, implying he's never at home.
Dad ensures the cancellation of one of his avatar's favorite shows.
Where are my pants was just a tool. Now that everybody will be frozen, he doesn't need it anymore.
Emmett is suddenly a master builder because reasons.
Because he went through the portal, learned something about himself, and is a representation of a kid's imagination.
Also, the micromanagers have been shown to be Dad's hands, so the kid must literally be slapping at his father's fingers.
The kid built the micromanagers, so he's just playing by himself.
Unikitty's negativity power is unleashed, and while I'd love to remove Sins for it being awesome, it took until this one moment for her anger to finally come out. Nothing before this did the trick, only seeing the thought-to-be-dead Emmett in the construction transformer being attacked.
Everyone has a breaking point, right?
You can do it, me laddie!
Go on, kid, get in there.
I guess if Emmett can hear everyone right now, they all somehow have those magic Avengers earpieces.
He can't, but the kid is just doing voices, and the audience can, which is the point.
I guess you're expecting me to remove a bunch of sins here at the end because we learn most of this movie is happening in this kid's imagination.
How good of you.
Finn, did you make all of this?
Suddenly, this father thinks what his son did is remarkable, even though just a couple minutes ago, everything he did was terrible.
Have you ever reevaluated something after an initial viewing? No, I didn't think so.
What's the craggle?
It's in there.
In here.
What's really gonna bake Dad's noodle is that there's a fucking Lego figure that looks exactly like him.
You can make a Lego figure that looks exactly like anyone. That's the fun.
Prophecy is made up, but it's also true.
How fortuitous!
Wow, ambiguity in a story. How novel. Not being spoon-fed everything.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
So now you're being positive. Funny how that happens when you monetarily benefit from something.